Hi, my name is Jackson Aide, and this is my record, Letters for Eliza. Hello again. Letters for Eliza. That's why we're here, revisiting some of these ideas, themes, characters. Previously, I talked about the record fundamentally, the idea behind it, and how I pushed forward. This time, I want to talk about the songs inside of the record. There's 15 songs, and they all exist on the record for a reason. There was probably maybe another 15 and maybe another 20, 25. Tend not to count them after a while. So saying that, the songs are what make up the record, of course. But how did I get there? I think Eliza continued. Eliza and I'll Write You Letters came first. I think I wrote those three very quickly, and when that happens, it feels fantastic. Especially when, and there were other songs besides that, but those three like solidified exactly what I wanted to say and do, and I knew exactly in my mind how they were gonna sound. But saying that, the songs are very interesting because some of them, a majority of them, are just bare bones. And what I mean by bare bones is that it is the original framework that came when first writing the song. Sometimes you can sit down and write songs, sometimes I can sit down and write songs, and the first thing that comes out might be good, but maybe 6 months down the line, you made it better. Changed it, changed structures, keys, tempos, all of that. And not to say that that didn't happen this time around. She's Your Lover got slowed down on the final version, and I re-recorded that in about 2 weeks. Whatever. But saying that, a lot of these songs, like, I just wrote them, and I just tracked them, and I demoed them out immediately when I wrote them, whether it be on this computer behind me or just on my iPhone. And saying that, I kind of wanted to keep that framework inside of those songs. Again, the record, the imperfection of the record, sometimes you lose things inside of songs when you try to make them perfect. So this time around, I did not want to really try to put any sort of twist on the songs or try to, make them any better than what they were when they first presented themselves to me. I don't know where they come from. They just present themselves. Sometimes out of nowhere, sometimes I have an idea and it's stuck with me for 6 months, a year, 3 years. Like Farewell and Hearts Seem to Change. Those songs are probably close to 10 to 12 years old. And I never really figured out how to get them right. And who am I to say if they're right now, but that's just what they are on the record, and that's kind of the point behind it. So the songs are the bare bones, so the framework of the record, and they are pieces of imperfection. And I needed these songs to exist in that manner for the idea of the record to be fully conceptualized. to the utmost degree. Again, you know, when you're making a record, it's interesting, the process behind it. I tend to think a lot about stuff. Again, that's one thing that I tried to let go in this process. Stop thinking about it. Have fun with it again. Be the child. Be the child, you know, everything's brand new and fresh. And that's what music is to me and needs to be moving forward, is that every time that you sort of sit down, you are now tinkering with something brand new, and there's going to be magic in there somewhere. So these songs really are, you know, Henry, what you doing? You know, little bits of imperfection. The process behind those songs was really an interesting one, because when it came to producing it, again, here inside this apartment, I kind of write, produce, mix as I go. This little spaceship right here makes that very easy to do. So I can write something, put it through the computer, and it can just be an acoustic demo, and then I can put drums behind it and play bass, and then it, you know, can sort of become this fully formed idea 5 minutes after you thought of it. And then of course you kind of start layering that idea, and you start putting things in and taking things out and putting more stuff in. Sometimes I like the metaphor that songs are sometimes like a suitcase and you're packing to go for a trip. And I always like, when having my first go around with a demo, producing, I always like to pack my suitcase full. As much stuff as I can get in there, cool. At least when the ideas are coming to me. And then I can always take a step back, which I did at one point in time, and I can sort of unpack that suitcase and really decide what it is I want this song to wear, if that makes sense. And sometimes that's like completely taking a lot of things away from the song and leaving it with just 5 instruments or 6 instruments. And some of those songs got that. She's Your Lover Now is a great example of that, because it was a little bit bigger than what it is now. And as soon as I kind of said, I was really struggling with that song. And as soon as I stepped back from it and kind of was like, what does this song need to be? What is the song wanting to be? And I realized that it was just this, you know, kind of 5 guys in a room vibe, playing it, some background vocals and that stuff. And that's the same with Eliza, and stuff like that. They kind of have the, like, you're there with me, and that's the whole point of the record. You know, you're hearing the nuanced things inside of the song, such as you can hear me walk into the room on the song Page 1, and that kind of starts it, like you're here in the apartment with me. You know, I recorded my neighbors with my iPhone through the wall. Hearts Seem to Change have some of those noises in there. I also found that creating soundscapes inside of songs, so I would go hiking with Henry, and I would just take my phone with me, and I would record the sounds of just nature. And so sometimes you hear that in Lavender, you hear that also in Page 2, and those soundscapes kind of give the song's energy. Again, going back to the record, that's exactly what I needed to do inside of those songs. Ethereal, nature, and it being real and feeling real. You know, if I didn't go capture those sounds myself, it wouldn't be that real for me. And we can talk about it. I would walk down to downtown Nashville, which is like 4 blocks from where I live, and I would record sounds on the streets. People passing by, talking, cars, sirens. I would also go into bars where bands were playing, and I would record the crowd, like the crowd ambience noise behind it. So that's what you're hearing, and we can talk about it. Let's see if I'm missing anything soundscape-wise. I don't think so. Someday